Hello everyone, it's Cassie and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my January wrap up. I'm super excited. I had a really good reading month and we started off the year right. Let's waste some time and get right into it. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. Both of those will mean the absolute world to me. Comment down below what you read in January. If you've read any of the books that I read in January, let me know your thoughts on them as well and what you rated them. My Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon wishlist will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out, and let's get into the wrap up. If you didn't see my February TBR video, I'll make sure to link it down below and in the cards, but I kind of spoiled that I did finish my TBR, so I'm super happy with myself because I wasn't too sure if I was going to, just because there was a huge book on here, but we'll get to that. The first book that I read in January and in 2022 actually is The Perfectionist by Sarah Shepard. This was for the prompt 2-word title. The Perfectionist show is supposed to be a spin-off of Pretty Little Liars, but this, like, the series has like no connection to it, but it's similar vibes type of story. So we follow 5 girls from Beacon Heights. They aren't friends before this book starts, but in class one day they're all partnered up and they find out they share a hate for a student at their school, and they plan his hypothetical murder, what they would do to him if they could. Suddenly this student is murdered the exact way that they described how they would do it. They all know that they didn't do it, so they're just trying to figure out who did it. So each of the girls have their own story of why they don't like this boy and what he did to them, and then also their own story of like just their lives in general. I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 5 stars. I love the vibes of just this type of book. Like, these are some of my favorite types of books. If you don't know, YA mystery type of stuff, I just love them. I know people don't like YA drama, but I love it. I love it. This is where I get my drama. I don't need it in my life, I get it in my books. Gave it 5 stars, started off the year right, and I'm reading the second book in this duology in February. I'm currently reading it as I'm filming this, and I'm enjoying it as well. So yeah, it is a duology, so you don't get all the answers, but this book doesn't feel like a waste. You get like a chapter of each girl, so you're seeing it from everyone's side, and I really liked that aspect of it as well. So I would really recommend if you like this type of story. So we really started off the year right. Then I picked up Girls Like Us by Christina Alger. This was for the prom, less than 300 pages. It's 273. Quite honestly, this feels like I read this forever ago. This is about FBI agent Nell Flynn, and she's going home because back to her hometown because her father died, and she's gotta do all the things. When someone dies, you have to close the estate. She has to fix up the house to put it up for sale. While she's there, she is faced with a case that is going on in her hometown where someone was murdered, and this is connected to a case that her father was working where another girl was murdered. So there's 2 girls that have been murdered in this town, and her dad was working on the case before he died, and she gets swept up into it and starts working on it as well. Soon Nell starts to thinks people close to her, people that she's known her whole life, could be the prime suspect of these murders. I think this was a really good book. It was super entertaining, and like I said, obviously it's super short, so it was easy to get through. There were times where I thought certain twists were obvious, but other times not so obvious. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. There's nothing really that sticks out being like, this is bad. That's why I gave it 4 stars. You guys know, I just rate on a feeling. I'm not really, I don't really rate very hard. Pretty much every book I read at least gets a 4, sometimes 3, but I'm not a hard marker, so I enjoyed it. Solid mystery. Obviously it's a short book, but so it's not like this huge complex mystery and plot. I mean, I think it could have been. I think this could be either a series of following Nell, or it could have been a bigger book that dived into the mystery. Yeah, this one could have been longer, but it also, for what it gave, it was the right length. If it wanted to go in more depth, it could have and made the mystery bigger. So then I read The Guest List by Lucy Foley. Read this for the prompt blurbed because it's blurbed by Alex Michaelides or Michaelides. I don't know, Michaelides, I'm not sure. The author of The Silent Patient and The Maidens, which read both those last year. Absolutely loved them. This is about a wedding. It's on a remote island. We follow multiple perspectives through this book. It's like the bride, the bride's sister, a groomsman, etc. The wedding party is there a day early. So that's mostly who we follow, and then the wedding's the next day, and we know that we're working up to someone being murdered on this island. It says everyone on this island has a secret, everyone has a motive, and someone won't leave this wedding alive. Figure out, you don't know who gets murdered until close to the end, or obviously who did it. There is kind of a spoiler on the cover somewhere. It makes it obvious about one twist in this book, so be careful with that. I don't want to give it away because spoiler, but there's something on the cover that gives something away, as vague as that is. But and everyone's secret basically comes to light, and a lot of them are motives for murder. I gave it 4 stars, but I feel like it also could be like a 3.5 now that I'm like weeks after reading it. I really enjoyed the parts of this book where there was kind of like fake outs, like you thought it was so obvious, and then it'd be like, well, actually maybe that's not the truth. Maybe that's not the twist. So those were really enjoyable. I enjoyed this book. Overall, it was like a solid book. Not the best mystery ever, but like a good mystery. I don't really have that much to say about it. I wouldn't read The Hunting Party from her, I don't think, because that one has like not good reviews, but I am interested in reading her future releases. I think in February this month there's a book coming out called The Paris Apartment. I think that's her, and I would definitely read from her again. It just wasn't like groundbreakingly amazing, but it was solid. Then I read The House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City, Book 1 by Sarah J. Maas, the chunker of a paperback. I read it. I finally read it, and guess what? I absolutely loved this so much. I will not be surprised if at the end of the year when I'm picking my favorite books, I won't be surprised if this is one of my favorite books of the whole entire year or all time. It's definitely my favorite fantasy of all time, but that's not saying much because I haven't read that much fantasy. But I really, really enjoyed this. We're following a girl named Bryce. She's half fae, half human, and she's affected by these murders that happen in Crescent City. Then we flash forward about 2 years, and she is faced with the murderer attacking again when they kind of thought that they already got the murderer. She is then asked to take part basically in this investigation, trying to figure out who the murderer is, what the motive is, figure out the mystery. And she is partnered with a fallen angel, Hunt Athlar. He's supposed to watch her, help her with the mystery, figuring it out a bit, but also just like protect her. This is basically a fantasy romance, fantasy mystery, and that's why I absolutely loved it. The mystery part of this was so good. I know lots of people say there could be like 200 less pages in this. I would maybe say 50, but I don't even know that I felt that. I never felt like this book was too long, which is insane because it's 800 pages. But to me, this never felt like it was dragging. It all felt pretty necessary. But I also don't read a lot of fantasy, so I needed all that world building and I needed all those details. I really love this, and it's making me want to get into more fantasy because I absolutely adored this, but I know this is lots of people's like favorite fantasy. Like, this is ride or die type of stuff. and I can totally understand why, and I get the hype for it now, and I 100% agree, and I'm so excited to be reading the next one in February. Like, I really hope it's good. I give it 5 stars if I didn't say. This was for the prompt 5-word title, House of Earth and Blood I used. If you don't read fantasy but you want to get into it, read this one. Especially if you like mystery like me, that's my main genre. This was a really easy way to get into fantasy. Loved it, would recommend 1,000 out of 10. Plus, I'm just proud of myself for reading this whole book in this month and 4 other books. Like, that's an achievement in itself, especially for me. Then the final book that I read in January is Behind the Red Door by Megan Collins. So I read this one for color or number in the title, so red obviously. So this one is another smaller mystery, and it follows Fern Douglas when she sees the news about a missing woman named Astrid Sullivan, and she swears that she knows her, and people are telling her that she knows her because Astrid had gotten kidnapped 20 years ago, and it was all over the news, so she probably just recognized her from the news. But Fern's like, no, I know her. I don't remember this case, never heard of this case, but I know that girl. Starts having these nightmares of Astrid, and so she knows there's more to the story. There's more here. She goes back home to help her father pack for a move, and this just gets the ball even more rolling on why she feels like she knows Astrid. Fern purchases a copy of Astrid's recently published memoir, a book that the media speculates has provoked her original kidnapper to abduct her again. Fern digs deeper, hoping to find evidence that her connection to Astrid can help the police locate her. But when Fern discovers more about her own past than she ever bargained for, the disturbing truth will change both women's lives forever. This one I gave 4 stars, but it could be like a 3.5 for sure. I listened to the audiobook because I didn't think I was going to finish the book on time if I didn't, and I wouldn't have. So I'm really glad that I did. I enjoyed the audiobook. I liked the narrator and everything. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good mystery. Some of it, again with this one, some of it was really obvious, and then they would do a fake out and be like, actually, you know, that happened like a lot. There was a lot of fake outs, and I really enjoyed that because I was like, this is so obvious. And I did guess some of the little bit of twists, but not overly that it ruined the story, and it made sense. They weren't like out of nowhere, so I enjoyed it. And if you've never heard of it, I think it's a not cute, but like a good little mystery, fun little read. Nothing crazy special, but still good. I've never heard anyone talk about this. This is a book that I just randomly found in the bookstore once, and like I don't think it has that many reviews, so if you're interested in reading a book like that, definitely check it out. It might be better if you don't like mystery, so you don't like, you might be more surprised by the twists. Yeah, I didn't guess all the twists, but like some little things I guess. There's a moment where like, how are you so blind in this moment? But then it just goes through, switches the other way. I don't know. Overall, I had a really good reading month, and it was totally everything up my alley because it was all mysteries. The only thing really different is having the fantasy aspect of this, but like they're all mystery based. But we love that for me, and that's what most of my shelves are anyways, so we gotta read them. But yeah, that was my January wrap up. Had a good reading month. Found a new favorite that I never would have imagined would have been a new favorite. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, give it a big thumbs up. Both of those would mean the absolute world to me. Again, comment down below what you read in January, your thoughts on them and everything, and let me know if you've read any of the books that I read in January, what you thought of them as well. Turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload from me. My Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Amazon wishlist will be linked in the description box below if you're interested in checking any of those out, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!